I think once you've actually learned how to really try one thing for an extended period of time, every single day, and taken all of your discretionary effort and your money and your time and your resources and put it towards just doing that thing, number one, you realize how few things you can really do well because of the amount of time that it takes. The second thing is you realize how easy it is to beat everyone else because of how few of them actually do that.
Lazy people don't know how to start. Weak people don't know how to finish. Successful people don't know how to stop. People demand success, but refuse to work weekends. People want opportunity, but won't talk to strangers. People claim ambition, but sleep in every day. We are the result of our actions, not our aspirations.
I think once you've actually learned how to really try one thing for an extended period of time, every single day, and taken all of your discretionary effort and your money and your time and your resources and put it towards just doing that thing, number one, you realize how few things you can really do well because of the amount of time that it takes. The second thing is you realize how easy it is to beat everyone else because of how few of them actually do that. And that learning how to try becomes a generalizable skill across domains. So when you do learn how to play the saxophone, and if you want to pick up tennis, you think about how many sessions you did to fix your fingers and play a more advanced thing over and over again. And then when you realize that the domains are similar in terms of skill achievement, you're like, oh, this is the same thing. And then when you go like, oh, I need to make content now, it's like, oh, it's the same as hitting 500 forehands and 500 backhands, and I make 500 tweets and 400 posts. And if I do it for an extended period of time and I take the feedback and I don't stop, I'll probably beat most people.
You also get to see if I am focused on playing the saxophone and becoming the best saxophone player that I can be, but I also want to be kind of good at tennis.
Yeah.
So the better that I get at playing the saxophone, the more repetitions it takes for me to become even one increment better. And in order for me to become even remotely in the same universe in tennis, how long is that going to take? And I need to work really, really hard. Yeah. It's like when you play a computer game, right? You're playing some RPG, and the first few levels, it's just noob gains all the way. Leveling up every time you turn it on. And then people are grinding to get from level 94 to 95 to 96. Yeah. You go, well, all of the gains accrue to the people at the top. Yeah. And if you've invested all of this time into this thing, you are getting per unit of effort way more back than you ever were in the beginning.
Yeah.
The difference is that you no longer feel the progress quite so much. So we have this odd issue that willpower at the end can sometimes wane, but the returns are at their highest, and the progress per unit of time put in is at its lowest. And the inverse happens when we start something. Yeah. And this is why when people get to the top of a thing, plus motivation, which is maybe just like a tiredness with the pursuit of a thing and a desire for novelty generally, which is maybe a little bit of different. But this is why people get to a thing and then this thing's tangential to that. Maybe I'm going to start. I've been learning to play the saxophone for a long time. I learned to DJ. DJing's kind of the same. Just go, yeah, but you're starting again at this thing in the beginning. And maybe it can augment in a different way. Is it as close as I know lots about training, so I'm going to learn about diet? Or is it I know lots about lifting weights, so I'm going to learn about playing tennis? And some things augment and enrich, and other things detract and take away.
I think the better you get at one thing, at least for me, the less it's made me want to do other things because I know what's going to take to do them.
Get to this same level.
And then I think, well, if let's say I'm a 9 out of 10 at saxophone and I would like to be a 9 out of 10 at tennis, I know how much work it would take to be a 9 out of 10 at tennis. And then I just wonder to myself, if I took all of that and put it right back in the 9 out of 10 that I'm at saxophone, would I go from being top 100 in the world to number 1 in the world? And then how different would my life be if I was a 9 out of 10 saxophone player and a 9 out of 10 tennis player versus a 10 out of 10 sax player? And which life would I prefer? And I have tended to be a maximizer in my whole life. And so like, I'm probably my die is relatively cast in this perspective in terms of like, I'll be doing business for the rest of my life. It's the only game that I really enjoy and that I spend all my time on. But I recently have had a really strong consideration that you and I talked about, which is I've been really strongly considering devoting myself to taking meditation as a practice seriously. And the reason for that is because the literature on basically the standard deviation improvement and subjective well-being, basically how happy people are, of Buddhist monks who have meditated for like 40,000 plus hours is like 3 to 4 standard deviations above the norm, like monstrous. So to put context here, 1 standard deviation would take you from like 50% to like 84% in terms of like general population. If you're 2 standard deviations, you're at 99. That's 2. 3 and 4. And so what's interesting is that like a year of meditation gets you that first chunk.
At an hour a day?
I was looking at 4 hours a day, but I'm aggressive. And so, but the thing is that in looking at this, it was basically like, in order to replicate those outcomes, it takes about 4 hours a day. Now, if you do an hour a day for a decade, you're going to get probably 1, maybe 1.5, depending on who you are, whatever. And so I, being a maximizer, was like, well, okay, let's start with spending $20 million on the house. Like, okay, if I spent all of my time that's available to doing this thing, would it be worth it? And the thing that's been troubling me is that the answer is yes. And so this is something that it's like, I know what it looks like for me to go work really hard at something. And I've just been like, I've been teetering at the edge of this, being like, okay, am I really going to do this? And so everyone's getting this as a snapshot of where I'm currently at right now, thinking through this, because the single greatest skill that you can develop is being in a great mood in the absence of things to be in a great mood about. And seeing these guys literally just take their median and just move it all the way up. They get the first arrow that hits them and they just completely avoid all the other second arrows, and then it vanishes in the moment. And the description of what 3 to 4 standard deviations ahead of subjective well-being is a constant state of bliss.
Have you looked at Gary Weber's stuff? He's one of the guys. He's somebody who has become awakened, like enlightened, like permanent, abiding, non-dual awareness.
Oh, super cool
type thing. And
he's that way.
His description. I mean, you know, it's unstress testable in many. I guess put him in an fMRI, but who knows if this is because of the meditation or they were the sort of person, etc., etc. But unless everybody is part of the same grift, which is to get you to sit in silence for a long time with your eyes closed, the incentives don't seem to really be there to get you to do that.
And the thing that's been like enticing me about it is, and I don't know if you're the same way, but like when I see how bad I am at something on my first few tries, I'm like, oh my God, my newbie gains are going to be through the roof. Yeah. Because
I'm a meditation hyper responder.
Oh my God. Well, me trying to meditate is I'm so bad at it that I'm like, I'm going to unlock so much because I'm so bad.
Yeah.
And I also like it because like it fits so well in my worldview of like, of course, having that level of happiness takes work. Of course, it's not me changing because like I spent my life changing my external conditions. I literally live in a fortress of my own making. We're in one of 2 huge rooms that are my gym, right? And I look the way I look because of that effort. I married the person I wanted to marry. I have the business, like I did all of those things. And yet this guy who has a chair in the middle of Tibet is
fitting you in having
he's just murdering.
Yeah. Well, this is, you know, we spoke about this when we chatted the other week, and I do think it's an important pivot. And I think that the story as well is an important pivot, more for you than for me, but for me a little too, of you spend a long time trying to achieve things that you think are going to make you happy and fulfilled, and they bring with it material, objective, real changes in life. And some of them are really important to front load, and some of them can only be achieved at certain periods of your life. Yeah. And after a while, you ask yourself, is this still the game that I need to keep playing?
Yeah.
I'm 10 out of 10 in this thing. And 11 doesn't exist, but tiny increments of 10s do.
Yeah.
If this isn't the answer, does it make sense to continue trying to fill an internal void with external goals?
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty cool to hear you look at even just consider a different mode of input with regards to that.
And just for the record, I'm only doing it because I think unlocking the next level of achievement.
Here we go.
I have to still have my logic brain for why it'd be worth it. But no, it's I think the reason I'm actually considering it is it takes so much violent level of work. It's true though.
The only way that anybody could
describe meditation as violent.
The only way that you could convince yourself to do it is to call meditation violent. But look, I something, and this is me stealing you and then repurposing it in a different way. We sacrifice the thing we want for the thing that's supposed to get it. Like we sacrifice happiness in order to become successful so that when we're sufficiently successful, we can finally be happy. And then if you were to make some sort of psychological equation and just strike off success from both sides, you kind of get left with the happiness piece.
Yeah.
But we're not closed systems. Humans need a sense of validation. They want to be recognized by the world. We have goals that we want to do. And it is important to realize it's an unteachable lesson.
Yeah.
It's important to realize that the thing you thought was going to fill the void wasn't the thing, but you can't realize it wasn't the thing that was going to fill the void until you've got it. And then once you have, you go, okay, sick. Tick that one off. Now allow me to move on to the more subtle insight that I could have never achieved had I have not gone there.
And so when I was 19, 20-ish, kind of when you have a lot of these existential crises, it's a very common time between 18 and 22 when people develop their worldview, or at least solidify some version of it. I strongly debated leaving everything and, pursuing the meditation monk path because I saw the same research that I'm looking at now, 16 years later, right? And what was interesting was that was actually during the process where I was like, happiness. I'm not going to even think about this anymore. And I made my new life goal to just be useful. Because the thing is that, and this might be me doing the lame judgment on other people, but me seeing a guy who sits in a hut and then just sits there and is happy for 8 hours a day, every day, I see that. I saw that. I try to have no judgment here, but as a waste. Because I think there's also a duty that we have to help other people. Now that's a should. I want to be clear. So you obviously don't have to subscribe to that. But I at least have it deeply enough in me that I feel like we should be useful to one another. And so my desire to be useful has been greater than my desire to be happy. But if there is a world that at this point I can be both, I'm okay with it.
Money doesn't buy happiness past $70,000 per year because spending money effectively is a skill and most people never acquire it. As someone who earns more than $70,000 a year, what have you learned about the skill of spending money effectively?
So it's so funny because people assume that there are not levels to skills. And I remember seeing, my first billionaire start spending money. And I was like, whoa, that's a thing. Interesting. And a lot of people who even do make money or save a lot of money never learn how to spend it well. Now, I'm not saying blow it on stupid things, but the 3D learning that you described with Bill, he spent money to create that experience, and it was probably worth it. And so most people just limit themselves to house, car, food, travel. That's the majority of it. But there's so many other things that you can do with money that improve your daily experience, that create memories that will pay memory dividends for a long period of time. And the easiest ones to basically pay down are time. And so it costs roughly $1,500 a month to get about 90 hours a month back if you add up driving, gas, preparation, cooking, cleaning of food, cleaning of your dwelling, cleaning and prep of your clothing. If you put all of those things together, what the average American spends per week. It's about 25 hours a week that they spend doing all of those things for themselves. And so 90-ish hours per month. And the cumulative cost of fixing all of that stuff is about $1,500 a month.
Would that be a maid/housekeeper person who maybe could also cook, or maybe a cook who's separate, a Uber daily?
Yeah. At the low end, later you can have a personal driver, but totally.
Just those two? Those are the only two?
Well, then you have food prep.
We could do
if you had a
one-stop shop housekeeper.
Probably cost a little more there, but yeah.
Yeah, but it would fold two roles into one.
Yes. And so, but thinking about that, and we have our $70,000 per year, cap, but if we're assuming, okay, we're making more than that, if you make $1 million a year, it's like, okay, would you be willing to spend 70 to get somebody who does all of those things for you? And you get 100 hours a week. Well, if you get the 100 hours back, let's keep it at $5,000 a month for what we're willing to spend. So more than that. Okay. So if you can make more than $50 an hour with your free time, or you simply would pay $50 to get more free time
to lie in a hammock,
then it's worth the trade, or go wakeboarding. And so I think that most people who start making more money, they just stop at nice house, nice car, maybe nice clothes, and places to eat, occasional travel that they spend once or twice a year. That's it. That's all they do. But there's so many ways to improve your existing environment.
I get the sense that it's actually the middle level. It's the people who maybe earn $100,000 a year in USD, maybe sort of 70 grand. Yeah. They're the ones who are likely to probably need this information the most. Yeah. Because if you're up to the $500,000, $1 million a year or something like that, it's like you've probably realized that this is something that you can spend money on.
People don't. I talk to entrepreneurs all the time.
Okay, well, that's
it's one of the first things I do when I look into a company. I say, what do you like? Do you have a housekeeper? Do you have and we go through all this stuff, because the highest ROI money I can spend as an investor is getting 100 hours a month back for the entrepreneur for $50,000. My God.
Well, I mean, yes, that's crazy. Yeah. And also, if you are someone to whom an additional $50,000 a year of income would be 30% of your net worth, or 30% of your annual income, making $150,000 a year, for you, this opens up a lot more than it actually does for the guy that's, let's say that, I guess when you're making $1 million, each hour that you would then spend would be worth more, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it's that overcoming that sense of, I can do this for free.
Yeah.
Therefore, I shouldn't pay someone to do it.
Guilt of spending.
This sense of opulence and wastefulness, entitlement.
Totally.
Overcoming that has been a real challenge for me, and it's good that I've been around people like Bill and yourself. And it's almost like it's a very specific type of ambition. And it's not ambition in the material sense. It's ambition in the life quality sense.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Optionality.
So one of the things I think from today that's been novel or interesting to me has been updates in your worldview. So reflecting on the last 12 months or so, what do you think are the things that you've changed your mind on the most, or updated your beliefs on the most?
Instead of saying happiness, I am open to the idea that I can be both useful and happy. I'd say that's probably the biggest one.
That it's not a trade between the two.
That's number one. I would say the second is getting very specific about moments and not extrapolating moments to days, weeks, months, years. This one good thing, can I spread that wide? And this one bad thing, can I shrink it into the absolute smallest possible box? And making sure that I don't suffer the second arrow. I'd say, like, if I had those are probably the two biggest things that I would say I have been actively working on for how I see reality.